would you adopt a baby?
Wow.
Not at this point, no, because we've filled our
Really?
lives with other things. So
What do you do together?
we run a business, our own
I know
business.
about you, the carb, great,
Yeah.
great products, very good products.
That's the main thing. I was a scuba diver with my ex-husband, and when I met Ruth, she went and got certified to scuba dive with me.
Well, see,
so
she
we do
gave a
that.
lot too, didn't she?
Yes,
She
yes.
gave, yeah. And you travel, you told me?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Where do you go?
On scuba trips mostly.
Do you go scuba
To the
trips all the time?
islands.
Okay.
To the islands?
Yeah.
So you took a cruise on Rosie.
Yeah, we won that trip.
How did you do that? Ruth did
Tell
it?
us, we wanna know about this.
There's an organization in Maryland called Equality Maryland. It's working for marriage rights in the
Okay.
state of Maryland. And they had a fundraising event. We went to that event, and they had an auction, and they auctioned off a couple tickets for Rosie's cruise, and we were the
I stood out
highest
in the
bidder.
lobby and stood out in the lobby, and there was another couple there and me, and we kept trading pens, and I was just determined.
She was the last signature before the bell rang.
And you got it.
The last signature you won it.
Yeah.
But another thing that was very significant, and I don't want to minimize the trip, but two very fabulous things happened to us that night, and it was all because of this Equality Now organization, which we think is one of the best political organizations around for gays, lesbians, and transgendered people. Basically, there was a brochure there for this women's community out in New Mexico, and we picked up the brochure. We thought, oh, wouldn't this be a fun thing to look at? You know, so Nina had a trip, business trip out to Las Vegas, and we flew to New Mexico to look at this land, fell in love with it. We just settled on our lot today.
Congratulations to you.
For our retirement.
Wow. So this is the future.
It's a women's community the women are all, you know, planning to take care of each other as we
Grow old
age,
together.
because so many of us don't have children. So, yes.
It's called Birds of a Feather, and it's just
Birds of a
lot-
feather flock together.
It's great.
You know, I
but
think
it's inclusive.
So good. I
But
think
it's
so good.
inclusive.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who have been in domestic violence, including myself. And I've often wondered, are you in abusive relationships and you decide down with the men, down, and you turn to a woman because women understand each other? Is that true?
I mean,
Emotionally.
yes, this emotionally on an
I
emotional
think so,
level.
but women violate each other too.
Yeah, there's
so.
a lot. There can be violence in
Domestic
women's-
violence in
Sure,
there?
sure,
Okay.
sure. I think if you have a propensity to committing violence or being attracted to people who will do violence to you, if that's the case,
Yeah.
you're still going to find that in a lesbian relationship
But
too.
mental, I think in a lesbian relationship, check me if I'm wrong, is it more emotional and physical other than physical relationships that you have problems in?
I'm not an expert on it, but I know that you can be beaten up by a woman as well as a man.
Okay.
So either way,
Okay. Either
it goes-
way, it can go
Okay.
either way. Okay.
There's definitely power struggles in a gay relationship, just like.
What do you two bicker about, or do you bicker?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Tell us, what are you bigger
You
about?
bicker?
What are you
Really
bigger
stupid
about?
things. Nothing
Just something-
important, just stupid stuff.
Like, just give me an example.
Ruth, you can open your mouth.
I think it's mostly when one of us says something to the other and the other person is offended by it. It's just because it was said rudely or
Derogatory.
insensitively, I think.
Okay.
I think that's the main
I get my
thing.
feelings hurt very easily.
I do too, and I hang on to that.
Oh, I do too. I
Yes.
suffer terribly.
I suffer inside because I want to get even.
So we say a sister-
And when
Yeah.
Nina says, "What's the matter with you? Can't you just let it roll off?" And I just can't. I suffer. I can't think of anything else. I want to
Right.
roll into a ball or get in the car and leave.
Yeah.
You know, for
Don't
the
you want
day.
to hug when something like that happens? Or I'm sorry. My husband thinks he's always right. He's never wrong.
Oh, really?
He thinks he knows everything. If he knew everything, he would know nothing.
What's your activities? What do you really enjoy doing? Like, you know, something like.
Well, we love this business.
Our home
They have the
business.
carbohydrate
Oh, you have that
and the
business?
foods are
Yeah.
wonderful.
Great.
They're so good. Low carbs.
Yeah.
It's
you know, when
taken
you run
over our life.
Yeah, it has. It's a home business. We run it out of our home, so it's taken over our home.
But you're doing good right now.
Well, but since I've gotten ill, I have fibromyalgia. I haven't been able to do much in the business, but I like talking to people on the phone, and you know, I talk to a lot of people who aren't well, and I feel as though I have, you know, friends out in 50
Right.
states.
Right.
You
That's
know, I have a
wonderful.
whole community of people out there that.
So you're networking.
Yes.
That's what you're doing.
It's incredible, and
You're
I
putting it
feel
out
as though
there.
it's not just the low carb foods. I feel as though it's really a mission.
It is a mission.
This is
You're out there to
great.
do something. You
Yeah.
really are. I found these wonderful ladies in one of the health magazine papers. The free paper, and I ran across her ad in the paper talking about low carb foods and everything, and that's when I got them on the show.
That's excellent.
Yes,
look so
I did.
happy together, the both of you.
We found that. Well, Nina said something very interesting the other day.
What?
You know, we were having a little squabble in the warehouse. I mean, you know, we get overwhelmed because there's a lot of work to do, and she's working full time, and I don't feel well, and I was feeling bad about something, and she said to me, Ruth, nobody could do this better than you could, and what else was it you said that we're just amazing at running a business together as business partners, that most people couldn't run a business
was a
together
great
the way that we do. And I had never thought about that, but it's really true.
Our skills are complementary.
Yeah.
You complement one another.
And how long have you been in business together for?
Since 2000.
Okay, so we're looking at a good 7 years there.
Who's the most sensitive person in this relationship, Ruth?
You are?
Can't you see it in her eyes?
Oh,
Pisces.
What are you, Nina?
Libra.
Libra, okay. Okay.
so definitely compatible. Yeah.
Is that true?
I believe it is.
I was always afraid to find out.
Read your horoscopes. Definitely read your
You've been together 9 years. That's wonderful.
Excellent.
Have you ever go to bed mad?
All the time.
Yeah.
And you don't say you're sorry, because I don't either. I take the anger to bed with me. I don't want to share it.
I don't know. We do a lot of just putting things behind us and getting on with it.
Okay, that's my husband
And
David
a lot of
does.
times
He
going to bed
He just forgets about
and
it.
waking up the next morning works for us.
Just going to bed without discussing it and going to sleep
Yeah,
and get
and
up
the next morning we've got
It's a new day.
Yeah.
So let me ask you ladies something. It's something that you can change in your relationship as of today. What would you change?
Well, a lot of times I think I'd like to start over again, because I feel like we start every day with the baggage from 9 years of squabbles, and if we could just literally just throw all that out and start fresh, without, well, I know what I do this a lot.
Okay.
I interpret what she says, not by the words she says, but what I believe she really means behind it, based on knowing
I
her
do the
for 9
same thing
years.
with my marriage.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
And she points out that that's very unfair. So.
But the thing that is amazing about our relationship, though, is that the underpinnings are so strong that we know that we don't want to be with anyone else. It's never the thought. And the thought is how deep the relationship is, and that above all else, we want to be together. We have a real commitment to one another, and we want to share our lives together. There's never a thought of anyone else leaving, doing something different. Never.
In relationships, I know it's very hard. When you meet, everything is so new. You don't have a past with him, he doesn't have a past with you. You haven't had that first argument yet, you haven't had that. And everything is so blissful. But then down the road, as you're living together, things do change a whole lot. And you have to have a commitment, a solid commitment, so that doesn't fall apart.
But I've been in 2 other relationships with women. One was 10 years and one was 8 years. And the thing that I learned in my last relationship was that I learned it's almost as though by the next day it isn't there anymore. I can't quite describe it, but that's what really is different, that it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the next day.
It's like
Unless it's really bad, and then it might take me a few days to get over it. But and I'm also have a lot more patience and a lot more latitude and a lot more
You're more settled right now.
more openness.
More open.
Understanding.
Understanding than I did. Well, I was younger too. When you're younger, you don't put up with a lot of stuff. But
of course not.
when you get older, you just, I don't know whether it's age or whether it's going
more accepting?
through stuff. Oh yeah.
She always looks at her.
It's great.
Let's talk a moment about Rosie. Did you get to meet Rosie O'Donnell?
A few times.
I love Rosie.
She's
How was her
a trip.
personality? Did she have a really nice personality?
She's wonderful.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She's wonderful.
Because you know what I'm going to do with this tape dump? I'm going to send Rosie a copy.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. So I know she
I
remembered.
want her to have a copy of this tape because I want her to see it.
She's a loving, compassionate, good person, and I really grieve when the press goes after her because
That is so wrong.
It's very unfair too.
she is a good person through and through. Her
She's got a heart as
relationship
big
is
as
very
this table,
deep.
and she'll give you anything, even the shirt off her back.
Yes.